Hello everybody, Jerry Katz, CEO of Premier Protection Insurance Services, LLC. But I'm also a property owner. Yes, a homeowner in South Florida on the water, East Las Olas, and I also own multifamily, commercial, and retail. So why am I doing the video? I'm here to give you an update to my last video that I put out about 6 months ago to warn you of the oncoming insurance crisis, especially investors as well as homeowners. So we're about 6 months in. And get ready for this, because my biggest problem is I can't handle the amount of new business that's being sent my way. And that's the truth. So it's staff, right? And training the staff. So we've been adding staff and hopefully we're keeping up with the growth, but things are good. So let me update you on everything else. What I've found in the last 6 months is 99% of the agents in the commercial world will not attempt the solutions that our agency is attempting, right? I don't think they know how, I don't think they have the experience, or they're not willing to give up the commission from the free market, and so on. So I can't tell you, every single day I am called with, hey, I was referred to you by this broker at Marcus & Millichap, or this banker over here, or this commercial realtor over there. Those are all our strategic partners. And they're saying, listen, Jerry, 5 days before my renewal, last year I paid $54,000. I got a renewal 5 days before my X date, and it's $137,000. And they offered me a 15% wind deductible, which my bank won't even accept. What do I do? And then it sends my team into a scramble to provide the solutions that we've been providing. So that happens every day. And why is this happening every day? Or, well, let's talk about the other scenario. You've already got a non-renewal 45 days in advance, and you have no insurance renewal, especially on the wind side in the property, and so on. So that scenario has been going on every single day. And in my office, we've been working 3 times as hard to keep up with those last-minute fire drills. And that's exactly why I'm putting this out. Do not wait for your renewal. I said the same thing in my last video. Your renewal will come back at anywhere between 30% increase all the way to a 300% increase. And I'm not joking. We have a cheat sheet. We track the rates on our renewals versus the solutions that we offer. So please do not wait for the renewal, because we may not have enough time to offer the solution that I'm going to go into, and like I said, we're overwhelmed with business for our current clients, fixing their policies, as well as constant new referrals and so on. So let's go into it. There's really no capacity. Nothing's changed. Interest rates are continuing to creep up, which affects the reinsurance markets. Just as a recap, you can't attract institutional investors into reinsurance markets today unless you do what? Triple the price. Why? Because today, I think I looked, a 3-year T-bill, right? Bond is trading at 4.25%. So institutions have flocked to bonds. Safety. They can get between 4 and 5% with no risk. So how do you get them back into investing into reinsurance pools, the institutions? By tripling the price of reinsurance markets. That's where they invest. That's why your renewal is coming in double or triple. And there's not enough institutions that are coming back into the reinsurance pools because they're flocking to safety, worried about an oncoming recession, worried about the Fed raising rates again, and so on. I personally think we're near the top of the cycle of interest rates going higher in interest rate hikes, but under this administration, who knows what can happen, but I think we're nearing the top. So that's an update on what's going on in the market. So January 1 is normally when reinsurance markets reset. So they have, and the new pricing came in January, but the capacity is at 20% of where it was last January, meaning the institutions are just not going there, even when there's an increased possible potential of a massive return. And that's why, again, you have a double or triple on your insurance rates, because they're trying to attract institutions. Let's go to solutions. By the way, did I say don't wait on your renewal, reach out now so we can get ahead of this? Keep that in mind, right? You need to reach out to me? There you go. Plain and simple. Or Jerry at PremierProtectionInsurance.com. So let's look into the solutions that we have come around with and that we've had success with. So number 1, Citizens Commercial. Yes, it's the government. Yes, it's the place of last choice. But here's the good news. They can do it, right? So on multifamily, right, which Citizens considers commercial residential, the good news is there is no limit. So whether if you have a $100 million property, $1 million property, or $500,000 property in the commercial space, they will do it, okay? I'd say 90% of the condos on the beaches in Florida today are insured with Citizens just for this reason, to keep the costs reasonable for the condo owners and everything like that. On commercial, non-residential, things like retail and industrial, office, Citizens has a cap, okay? It's $2.5 million in replacement costs in South Florida. So that one's a little more tricky. So if you have property with over $2.5 million replacement costs, you're subject to the market, right? And those prices are not good. So that's Citizens. Same with the homeowners, right? In Dade County, they lifted the limit to 1 million. And number 2 in Dade and Palm Beach and Broward County, it's 700,000. And north, it's various per county. So there are solutions for your homes as well. Now I will tell you, if you own a house near the water or pre-1995 construction in Florida that's over 4,000 square feet, you will not fall into the Citizens guidelines on homeowners, and your premiums will be shocking. Literally shocking if you can get the wind. But again, this is one solution. We have a couple others. They're just more technical. Call me on those. So let's look at this. Citizens can offer you a wind policy, or it can offer you a multi-peril. Citizens has something called the wind debris zone. In the first mile of the coast, they only offer a wind-only policy. What we've seen is the average rate for wind-only policies is a $2 rate, which is equivalent to about $20,000 per million in replacement cost coverage for wind only. But here's the funny thing with Citizens. If you're a mile east of that, or over a mile east from the coast, we can get you a multi-peril policy, which includes hazard and wind. Hazard is fire, vandalism, water damage. A multi-peril policy, and the rates have been coming in at around 80 cents per million, okay? Depending on your wind mitigation credits, certain credits, how age of roof, but the average is about 80 cents. If you go north into Florida, like Pensacola, Jacksonville, Panhandle, I've got rates as low as 40 cents. So 80 cents is a multi-peril policy, hazard and wind, at around 8,000 per million of replacement costs. And going north, we've seen 45 cents out of Tri-County. So that's $4,500 per million. Tell me your renewals are anywhere near that. Tell me your last year's insurance policies are anywhere near that. The good news is Citizens is the state. It's got great coverages, sometimes better than free market. And the other good news is they have to pass a piece of legislation to do a rate hike. Last year, 8%, not 200%. So that's what's going on in that world. Now, it does take inspections that take anywhere between 5 to 7 days. Our team here, we've trained 2 inspectors. They can go all over the state of Florida. They understand how to do the Citizens wind inspections. It's about a 21-point certification, and they're reasonable because I'm a property investor just like you. And I'm not gonna overpay on an inspection just because it's commercial. We have an in-house replacement cost estimator appraiser, right? Because if I call an appraiser for a replacement cost estimate, they're gonna want $2,000. So we have one in-house. He's agreed $300. He works for us full time. So we've staffed up for this crisis, and we are prepared. And it's all in-house. So that's why we can offer it to you. One other thing I want to mention to you is that why isn't your agent talking about this? Number one, Citizens only pays 7% commission. The other, free market, we get between 10, 12, as high as 14%. So it's much easier for an agent, especially at my big competitors, which I won't mention, but they're Fortune 500 companies or Fortune 100, they're not gonna deal with this. They're not gonna deal with the government. They're not gonna deal with half the commissions. They could easily sell you a double premium and say you have no choice. So that's why I think personally, most are not doing it. Or they're just not sophisticated enough. They don't have the inspectors, they don't have the appraiser, but we do. We're a boutique shop that caters to entrepreneurs like you and high net worth individuals. So that's where we're at. So all that can be done in-house to get you into Citizens. We've built relationships with the underwriters, and we're moving it quicker and quicker and quicker as time goes by. So again, that's only one solution. There's 5 ways to skin a cat or whatever, think out of the box. There's other ones. You could be overinsured, underinsured, values. Most agents make mistakes at construction type. We have a client that had a $54,000 policy and his renewal came in at $132,000. That's realistic. We got him into our program in Citizens and the liability, and it was about $56,000. Once the underwriter reviewed, they agreed that it was ISO class 6 construction, wind resistant and concrete. He actually got a refund, $13,000. It dropped down to close to $40,000, right? So it was lower than last year. If you need a reference, I'll ask him to type something up for you, and so on. So the biggest downfall of Citizens, right, is they don't offer business income, okay? So a lot of banks are requiring loss of rents, especially the non-recourse lenders, right? So that's been the biggest challenge. But guess what? We have recently unearthed a process to remove loss of rents with Fannie, Freddie, and agency loans. We now have a process, but it has to be submitted at least 7 days before the renewal, where we show the current renewal that doesn't meet the guidelines today, because most of your renewals are coming with a higher wind deductible or a lower value because there's no, aggregate wind in the market. So we have a process to remove loss of rents, even with the non-recourse lenders. So it exists. Believe it or not, it's here. We reduce that, reduces values, gets you into a different program. Solution. Another solution, believe it or not, I have some clients refinancing their properties with banks that will remove certain things like wind in certain locations, as well as loss of rents, to get involved in our programs and solutions. I've referred banks over $50 million in loans in the last 6 months. And some guys, some entrepreneurs and women are paying off old loans and refinancing because it saves them $50,000 in insurance. Even at the higher rate, it's worth it. It's a spreadsheet. We work it out. If it's worth it, it's numbers, it's data. Okay, last thing. So those are the processes. We have solutions, and we got this. So again, I can't stress this enough, because we get those emergency calls last minute and we have to scramble. Please don't wait for your renewal. The time to reach out to us is today. We get it. We're an investor, we're investors, we're an agency of entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. We can help you on your home and on your investment properties. We will get through this crisis together. Good luck. Jerry Katz signing off.